evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. Welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversation. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you this evening. Elizabeth and I, we are in the UK, and it's nearly seven. It's 7 o'clock already.
7 o'clock on the dot, or
On
just
the
one
dot,
minute past?
yes. And well, today we are going to speak about why purpose is important. And, you know, when we do not have purpose, we have this feeling of not being fulfilled. When I say this, I speak out of experience and I speak of my journey. When I was growing up, the only purpose I had was to study, to be a good girl and to be pleasing to our parents and do the things that they have asked you to do, which is good. But as I became a teenager, I needed more.
Mm.
So we all need something more. You are more than just going to school, going to maybe even going to church, or even going for football, or going to have a girly, what do they say in this country, having a night out, or even having a sleepover,
Mm.
you know but knowing your purpose helps and enhances the things that you're really called to do. Meaning we will dive in, and we will dig in, and we will unpack this purpose in a little bit more. But I just wanted to say something. If you see Elizabeth and I bending down and playing with our phones, it is not playing with the phones. It Please do not think that we are disrespectful, because we are engaging with the people that are watching on Facebook, and we are engaging with the comments. We have still not trained a group of host of people to help us on engaging on social media. So if Elizabeth is speaking, I'm engaging on social media. So please do not take it to heart. We still love all you viewers out there. And coming back to purpose.
So before we go into the topic, Kirabai, allow me to. Um, I want to do this at the start and at the end. So I wanted to leave it to the end, but I'm going to do it now, just in case anyone pops in now. You hear about it. So we're talking about purpose today, yes, and we're going to link that with coaching and mentoring. So you might have seen the spill that I put, and you might think, I thought they were talking about goals, but hey, we're going to link it. We're going to link it. So at the end of February, we are going to be hosting our first live workshop. So we're going to be in person. So it won't be online, it won't be on Facebook or YouTube. We are going to be in person at Holiday Inn, Kensington High Street in London. So if you're in the London area, join us, join us, join us. I'm going to post the details for you to have a look, and you can get the details on our social media as well. But alongside that, just take the details down and you can register. I'll put it also I'll put a link in the chat. Now, we want to help you. We want to help you, to provoke you to step up and step out in line with your purpose and do the thing that you have been created to do. So that's why we are hosting this workshop. So if you're a Christian woman, this is for you. If you're a Christian woman and you just need that nudge, you need to be in the room. Honestly, register, don't delay. So going back to our conversation, it's good to see some people on Facebook. Hi, Annette. Hi, Esther. Hi, Bridget. Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So as you're joining us today, please like, share, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and engage in the conversation. Let us know, what are your thoughts on purpose? Do you have a coach? Do you have a mentor? Do they help you to fulfill your purpose, to step into that place of purpose? Right. Over to you, Kiruba. I think I was like the advert. That was me
No,
doing the
you
advert.
you dived right in, and rightly so. If not, we might just it might slip our minds to tell our viewers that we are having a workshop called Purpose and Destiny. And you know what? It is a time of connecting, a time of networking, a time of discussion. We will be having women from all walks of life. And for your information, it is going to be a very, very intimate group. So make sure, click on Eventbrite and book your place. So coming back to purpose, we are talking about purpose, and I don't know whether you saw my posting this morning on Facebook, but if
I,
you are
I
struggling,
clearly didn't see it. I saw the wrong one.
no, you know what? It's never wrong because it's everything links up to purpose and destiny, and
Absolutely.
purpose being, if you are struggling to know what you are called for, and if there is this query in your heart, and say, what am I doing on earth? Food for thought. Food for thought. What are we doing on earth if we are not fulfilling the purpose the Creator has called us? Many people say many different things about purpose, but Elizabeth and I, for sure, we know our purpose is to bring enlightenment to those who pop in and pop out on our conversations, because
Mm,
that is one of those things that Elizabeth and I have spoken, that we want to help women, and of course men if they come alongside, to find purpose. Sometimes your purpose can be tied to your passion, and sometimes your purpose can be something so unique just for you, just for yourself, that God created you for such a time as that purpose to be fulfilled. So if you are struggling today, if you are saying, I do not know my purpose, I do not know what I'm called for, I do not know what is my destiny, because purpose is tied up to your destiny. And if you are having these questions and saying you are not having this fulfilled, content life, I'm not talking about money. Money adds to the contentment. But if you and I fulfill our purpose, then it is 200% contentment, because we are in that place where we are called to be. So that's why purpose, destiny, and passion, it's all tied up together. And this is one of those things that we are going to enable you to unpack yourself today as you listen to just snippets. But on those on the day that we're going to do the workshop, we are really going to dig deep into those nuggets of purpose, because as we speak, as we present, I'm sure some of you are already thinking that you will know what you're called to do. Elizabeth, being an engineer by profession, and I was a banker, I cannot do what Elizabeth is doing, and Elizabeth can't do what I am doing. But you know what? Together, collectively, collaboratively, we can bring a certain purpose that is confidence culture conversations today. And that's why we have been working collaboratively, bringing our unique purposes together to build women and men for tomorrow, today and tomorrow. So, Elizabeth, over to you.
when you say that, I was thinking we're building for today too, not just for the future, but for today as well. But no, purpose is so important. And I always like whenever I'm talking about purpose, I always like to refer back to Dr. Miles Monroe's words when he said that where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. When
Mhm.
you don't know why you are here, when you don't know why you are in the room, when you don't know why you're in the job that you're in, when you don't know why you are in the community that you're in, when you don't know why you're in the church that you're in, when you don't know why you are in the company that you are in, then abuse is inevitable. You miss it. When you don't know why you are there, you miss it. You miss the point. If you did not know the purpose of a phone, if you didn't know the purpose of a laptop, if you didn't know the purpose of paper, you would abuse the purpose of it. And sometimes you see when you see, maybe you see videos, or you see, those clips where someone is using something for the wrong thing, and you're just laughing and thinking, are they okay, are they crazy? And it's like that. When you don't know the purpose of something, it's easy to abuse that thing. So
Mhm.
likewise, it's so important for us to understand what our purpose is, to understand, why am I here? Why am I here? What am I here to do? It's so important for you to get to that place where you realize why you are here, and you start to walk in it. You start to do as purpose demands. Because when you do as purpose demands, then you are Kirubai said something earlier on about purpose and passion. And yes, purpose and passion are linked. They're linked, because I would say that the things that you have been purposed to do, you have a passion for. Now it might not even be like an entirely positive passion, but it might also be a passion that drives you to do something. I was saying something to someone a few days ago, and I said, that there's a book by Mike Maddock where he talks about the things you cry about are linked to the problem that you are created to solve.
Mm.
That is passion.
Mhm.
That's passion. You're crying because there is something that is being stirred on the inside of you. What is the burden? What is the burden on your heart that is linking to your purpose? There are so many things that maybe, let's say you see something on the news, and something just tugs on your heart, draws in on you, and there's a burden that is stirred on the inside of you. That is linked to your purpose. That is linked to your purpose. Don't ignore, and I say this to the lady I was talking to. I said, don't ignore the pain that you feel in certain circumstances. Don't ignore it. Listen and ask yourself, what can I do to turn this situation around? If someone came and shared their experience with you, and you were drunk, your heart was torn, your heart was burdened, you went home, you couldn't sleep because your heart was burdened, hearing about their situation, you start to ask yourself, what solution am I in a position to bring? Don't ignore it. Because you know what? We are paid for the problems that we solve. We are paid for the problems that we solve. And purpose is about solving problems too. You are here to solve a problem. There is a problem with your name on it. There is a problem out there with Elizabeth's name on it. There is a problem out there with Kirubai's name on it. There is a problem out there with your name on it. So don't ignore the things that irritate you. I'll share like a bit of a personal story. One of the things that irritates me is customer services. When I encounter bad customer services, there's a way it rubs me up the wrong way. There's a way it just I feel like I have to say something. And honestly, I started to a few when I started becoming more aware, I started to realize this is a field that I was called to. And I started to get ideas of things that I can do to come and solve the problem. Because if you think about it, customer service is everywhere. Every field needs customer services. In church, we need to be customer service friendly. In hospitals, we need to be customer service friendly. Wherever we are, whether it's a business, a charity, whatever organization, we need to be customer service friendly because we have customers. So it's important for, and that's not to say that people in church are customers, but they are people coming for a service, they're coming for a gathering, and so there's an expectation. There's a level of service that they're also expecting to receive, an atmosphere that they're coming into, that someone has prepared, so to speak. So I started to realize that this is an avenue that I needed to focus on. And when I started to realize that, that's when I stopped looking for engineering jobs. That's when the trajectory of my life
Change.
turned. Because before, I had my degree in electrical engineering, I was looking for engineering jobs, I was getting frustrated, not being successful. And I started to realize, but you're here, you're in a customer service role right now, and you're seeing problems that you have the ability to solve. You have been empowered, because this is it, the problem that you are created to solve. And absolutely, Sister Colette, it's good to have you on here. It's been a while, we need to catch up. But the problem that you have been created to solve, you have a unique solution for it. And we have to realize that we are, what we bring to the table is unique. What you bring to the table is unique. Yes, you might be a coach like somebody else next to you, like me and Kirubai, we're both coaches, but our flavor is different. It's unique. What we bring to the table, the style that we use to coach people is different. So yes, we're both in the coaching space, but we are bringing a uniqueness. And your purpose is that unique thing that you bring is linked to your purpose. I remember one time, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to check out. But I remember one time TD Jakes was preaching, and he talked about how before the beginning of time, God determined our purpose. And the way he described it was, think about a computer hard drive. You program it to do the things that it does. It's hardware, and you put something in it, you program it so that it can function, so that it can solve something. And he said, and he used that as an illustration, that when we were formed before the beginning of time, God programmed us. And so when we come into being, and we are walking in purpose, we are just living out the program that was already coded in our system. And I was like, wow, that's a different way of looking at it. Over to you, Kirubai.
It's also interesting that lots of us fight against that purpose. Fight meaning, we, as you say, from beginning of time, we have been programmed. That means from the foundation, there is a program that has been running within us from the time of birth, and then it's upon a certain age, it might come into maturity. But lots of us, we kind of go into different things, trying to feel our where we are called. But you know what? Most of the time, we are drawn to the fact, the monetary reward.
Mm,
I can speak that of myself, because you worked in a bank and I worked in a bank, and I was in the bank for 17 years, and I was literally, I couldn't take the pressure during the time of Y2K. Do you remember Y2K? And we had to work 24 hours around the clock. And it's those dissatisfaction that I had, because that was not my purpose. Because my father said, bank job, very secure. You know how those days they will always speak that. But in 2000, I said, no, this is not giving me happiness. I work so long hours, and for what? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know my purpose then. But you know something? I just started selling Mary Kay because I wanted to do something completely different, something so creative. Me not selling makeup, a banker selling makeup, but you know what? It was fun. And I discovered through that my purpose was. Also, customer service, always being with people, encouraging people to look nice, to look beautiful. And you know what? I excelled in it. I knew my purpose then. And that's how I started studying, taking it a little further, and came into training people to look good, or even training people, train the trainer. I was training others. But you know what? It was all about connecting with my purpose and being that purpose, being that person God wanted me to be, because He already saw the end from the beginning.
What's that?
And today, where I am today, I'm connecting. I'm a people person. I've gone into coaching, a different sort of coaching. Passionate, because I'm passionate about people. I never realized that I was passionate about cosmetics. But you know what? Once you look good, you change, and you know what? I enjoyed it, and now I share that passion with others. So take a pause. Those who are watching today, take a pause and see where you are quite passionate about. Where, Elizabeth, we all have a story. I completely flipped 180 degrees, which I'm so happy, because I did discovered I had the gift of the gap.
But you know what, Kirubai? Sometimes the process of discovery allows us the opportunity to flip
Yeah.
from one end to the other. Because when you get to a place where you're frustrated, you want change, you want something different.
Hmm.
And in taking a turn to do something different, you start to discover you start to discover what works. Sometimes I remember one time I was speaking to a young lady, and I said, and she was looking for work, and I said, what sort of work do you want? What do you enjoy doing? And she's like, I don't know, I don't know. I'm like, no, come on, what is that thing? What is that thing that you enjoy? Because you never know, maybe you can find a job in that area. Sometimes we are too afraid to explore those areas.
Hmm.
And you said it before, we have a need to meet. So sometimes we're too afraid to explore those areas. But once we get into the place where we master our craft and we are able to solve a problem, we can get paid for solving those problems. There are people who get paid a lot to talk. It's talking. We all talk at some point, but they're getting paid a lot to talk. And you might think, what's that? But for some people, they have this. It's the skill. It's linked to their purpose. It's linked to what they have been gifted to do, what they have been called to do. And we have to realize that. And I think I had someone say this, and it just resonated so much with me. That for the purpose that you have been created or assigned for, the purpose that has your name on it, you have been uniquely equipped for that purpose. You have been uniquely equipped for that purpose. And when you start that process of discovering your purpose at an early stage, it helps. And it's not necessarily that if you start it late, you've missed out. No.
No, it's never
But
too
it, it,
late.
it provides fulfillment. When you're walking in purpose, when you're living intentionally and purposefully, there's a sense of fulfillment that comes along with that.
So, what age would you say that it will be a good age for us to um, find purpose? Okay, for instance, for Janaya, she's 4. But do you know, as a mother and as a coach, what her inclinations would be?
Before I answer that question, Colette just posted something, right? I find that sometimes we are waiting to get perfect and then we don't move.
True.
And that's
Thank
very
you.
true.
Thank
Very,
you,
very
Colette.
true.
Very, very true.
We're waiting to discover the fullness of our purpose. We're waiting for perfect conditions before we step out. Now back to your question, Kirubai. I think as parents, we are in an amazing position. We're in an amazing position to guide our children in the area of purpose.
Hmm.
Because you can start to see from a young age. I remember one time, and Tunji, thank you for joining us. Hope you don't mind me sharing this. But one time we were in a worship service, and at this time I was still pregnant, and from the time we were pregnant, you would lay your hands on your tummy and just be praying and declaring. And so every so often I would find myself just speaking over her, or I would be driving and I'm just speaking over her. And this particular time we're in a worship service, and something just clicked, and it was almost like I had a voice just saying, "You've got a worshiper in your tummy, like there's a worshiper inside there." And I was like, "Oh wow." And one of the things that I that we used to do a lot of was play worship music around her.
Mm.
And now, like, she that's the sort of music she listens to, and she loves it. And you know what, God only knows what more is in her that is
Mm.
yet to be explored.
Mm.
But
Unveiled.
from an early stage, you can start seeing certain traits in your child.
Mm.
And sometimes we come from backgrounds where we train our children up to follow a certain career path,
Hmm.
and that's good. That's good. But we shouldn't also frustrate them from the passions and the giftings that they might have. So for example, if you have a child who's very athletic, there's a lot of opportunity for athletes in the time and age that we're living in.
Mm.
So it doesn't mean that you should shut them down, but just guide them in it. Last week I was in a school and we're talking to the kids about, like, what do you want to do 10 years from today? Where are you currently? What are you doing right now? And I remember one of the students saying to me that they spend a lot of time gaming.
Mm.
They spend a lot of time playing computer games. And for every child that say that to me, I would ask them, how many hours do you spend? And some of them didn't want to tell me because they knew it's a lot. They were like, "Miss, it's a lot. Just know it's a lot." I said, "Okay." And I say to them, "Okay, so are you getting paid to play these games, or are you just playing games?" And actually, all of them said they're getting paid.
Whoa.
And
Really?
these are 15 and 16-year-olds. So that's why they're playing more, because they're getting paid.
Yeah, they're motivated by money. Yeah.
But it's starting to teach them something. It's starting to train them something, that they're tapping into a passion. And one of them, funny enough, one of them said that he wants to be a gamer. He wants to be a gamer when he's older. And I said, "Okay." And I asked the class a few questions, where one of the questions was, who in the room is most likely to be a prime minister, most likely to be this? And when I say prime minister, they all pointed at this guy. And I
Okay.
looked at him, I said, "You want to be a gamer, but your classmates are saying you're most likely to be a prime minister because they see prime minister qualities in you." And he said, "I'm going to be honest with you, miss. I can see what they're seeing, but I'm not a people person. I don't like people.
Oh, he's an
So I'm
introvert.
sticking to my games." But he didn't seem like an introvert. But he was like, "I'd rather play my computer games than deal with people."
Mm.
But already people are seeing traits in him. They're seeing certain things about him. And sometimes when it comes to our purpose, so one of the things I tell people, purpose, go to the maker, go to who made you, who created you, to find out your purpose. But when we are struggling in that area, you can also speak to people around you to help you understand the areas of your gifting, because your giftings are linked to the purpose that you've been created to solve. That is why
Mhm.
I say that you have been uniquely equipped to solve particular problems. So if you're a good communicator, know that your purpose is linked to something that involves a great deal of communication. If you're someone who, you're very empathetic, you have a lot of empathy, know that your purpose is linked to that.
Mhm.
And once we start to see these traits in our children, we can guide them.
Mm.
I remember one time someone saying about Janaya that, oh, she's very confident. Oh, I won't be surprised if we see her in number 10 Downing Street, or if we see her, in politics, because she's so confident. And that's something they've seen about her.
Mhm.
It can be nurtured, because we can nurture our children in the way that we would like them to go, but more
Mhm.
importantly, in the way that God wants them to go, not just in the way that you want them to go as a parent, but in the way that God has desired for them, in the way they've been programmed to go.
Elizabeth, you speak so passionately about children. For those who do not know, I only have a um, we don't have, Robert and I don't have children, but we have a lot of spiritual children. But Elizabeth and Tunji have a beautiful daughter, and that's why Elizabeth's nuggets, she's sharing about children and bringing up children, and also Elizabeth works with children in schools. So that's a unique gifting, see, from a very young age, to tap into purpose and tap into the passion that children have. And that's amazing. As parents, if when we guide them from young, you know, can you imagine how the foundation is laid and what kind of heights they can acquire
They
when they
can go
grow up?
to. Mm.
And it's amazing, amazing, amazing. and and you know what, I love Janai to bits, and she is such a sweet and confident child, and she is definitely a politician in the making. Why? I'll share a little story about her. Today is all about Janaya. um,
I think she's watching. Hi, Janaya.
um, Last Wednesday we met up, and Elizabeth and I, we went out for lunch, and we met a friend, and we kind of met up. And later on, Pastor Tunji and Janaya came to pick up Mummy. And whenever I meet Janaya, there's always some chocolates or something, some sweeties for the little one. And she had this beautiful umbrella, and I said it looked cloudy and was going to rain. I said, could I have the umbrella? She said, no, I can't give you the umbrella. So I told Elizabeth, please don't pass the chocolates. Then she said, oh, no, 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 I can give you the umbrella. I would love the chocolates. You know, she's already in the art of negotiation. And that needs confidence to do it. To a woman who's a lot older, I will give you the umbrella and I can have the chocolates. You know, that's a woman in politics in the making.
No pressure. We will guide her accordingly.
No pressure. Yes. So, coming back to passion, coming back to smart baby. Yes, indeed, she is extremely, extremely intelligent and bright. Um, so I attribute that to the parents who have been guiding her. So, parents, you play such an important role in in the lives of your children, and don't take it lightly. Don't take it lightly. So coming back to passion, and one of the things that if you do not fulfill the passion, that God-given passion, you're always, you feel unsettled. There's an unsettling feeling that you feel, that there's something more, and this unsettling feeling comes in your pit of your belly. You can just feel that heaviness, and that's the way you would see and you feel when you feel that. I'm saying this practically. When you feel that you're not doing the right thing, then you have to stop and find out, what am I doing wrong that I'm feeling like this.
Hmm.
Just don't continue day in day out going through the mundane life that you have up. waking up, maybe running to the office, and then sitting there working in the office, being very, very unhappy. You know what? Stop, reflect. It's time to reflect. 2023 is a time to reflect. And if and when you reflect, the answers will just flood in. And if you can't still find your answers, it is Elizabeth and me that you need to have a chat. I think Elizabeth pokes and prods. I have a gift to see what God has called you to be. And this is not being boastful, because this is a download of gift from God for both of us.
Mm,
We want you to fulfill your passion and your purpose, like how we are. We are happy. We can talk for 2, 3 hours, because you know what? We are called to encourage. We are both encouragers here. We want to encourage you into your
mm,
purpose. We want to encourage you to start that charity God is calling you to be, to start, to encourage you to go and help, maybe even start small, help in a what is this thing called? I'm sorry. um oh God, I've lost my words now. Spoke too soon. In a charity, when, maybe even in a charity shop.
mm.
See how they run a charity shop. Food bank, yes, food bank, or feeding the poor, something, connecting to the community, and then you will find your passion. It's so important, people who are so fortunate like us, to connect to the community. I like what Colin has said.
Thanks for sharing that, Kirubai, because sometimes people are waiting for a statement from above that says this is your purpose. But what we have to realize is that your answer to purpose is not in a one-worded answer. Because as you are doing the things that you have been assigned to do, you start to realize what this purpose is. So yes, you can go to God, and God will start to speak to you about it, but it's he'll start to show you snippets. You start to discover it as you're going, as you're doing things. And you know what, when you were sharing, one of the things that really um came back to my mind, there was one day that this was when I was working in a law firm. And part of working in the law firm, we liaised with an organization that brought opportunities for us to do some charity work, some volunteer work. So part of corporate responsibility. And this law firm offered, I think it was 20 hours a year that you could dedicate to voluntary work within company time. So there was a day, I think, in the year, one day in the year, that was that particular day, the whole day was dedicated to different activities with this organization. And so they would link us up with different charities. One time we went into an old people's home and we cleaned the place. We offered them pampering sessions. We basically painted some place. We did so much. But there was like a team of 10 or 15 of us that went there, and then another group went somewhere else, another group went somewhere else. But it's doing things within the community. And I love doing volunteer work, honestly. I do. And so one of the days, we had a list of various options of places that you could go, or things that you could do. And I decided that I was going to go and help out in a primary school. And it was like they were doing like a sports activity. And so we went there. There was a couple of us. We got there, and the kids, I think, were in assembly. They had lined them up, and they started saying, "Who wants to lead a group? Who wants to lead a team?" And I put myself forward. Why not? Let's do it. So I put myself forward to lead a team, and there was a it wasn't like there was a prize at the end of it. So they showed us the different prizes. There was a nice big cup and some smaller cups. The nice big cup, they said, in order to get that, you have to be the best, you have to have the best team spirit.
Mm.
You have to have the best team spirit. So I looked at my team. We got into a huddle. I say to them, okay, which cup do you want? And they looked at me. They said, we want the big one. I said, okay, so that means team spirit. Well, who's the positivity award winner? Yours truly, right? Yours truly is the positivity award winner. So I say to them, I said, you want the award? We're going to get it. You want that one? We're going to get it. So from the beginning, we had, I think, 10 different activities that we had to complete. So we were just cheering, cheering. You could hear us from afar. If we lose, we cheer. If we win, we cheer. We just kept on encouraging each other. You can do it. Go, go. You can do it. So at the end of the day, we didn't score the highest on the activities because we didn't win every single game. But guess what? We won. We won we were the best team for team spirit, for morale, for positivity. We were the best. And the kids were they were so happy because that cup was going to go in the school cabinet, and
Mm.
everyone that comes to the school was going to see it. And they can say, I won that. And I remember sitting in my car to go home that day, and I took some time to reflect. And I said, I think that was one of the best days of my life because I was doing purpose.
That's right.
Because I was doing purpose. It didn't come hard, it came easy to me. I was being myself. I was being me. I was encouraging. I was motivating these kids. I was supporting them to bring the best version of themselves, and they did, and was spreading joy and happiness. That's me. If you know me, you will know that that's me, right? So that was me doing purpose. Just in that moment, I sat down and reflected. Now, if you have days like that, or when you have days like that, reflect on that day and see, what is it about that day?
Mm.
Because those things are linked to your purpose. You don't have to look so far and wide. Look within, take time to reflect. Take time to discover you. And I have moments like that. It's not always with working with kids. Sometimes it's with coaching. But
No,
that's me seeing who I am.
no,
Sorry,
it's
Karen.
very interesting when you say the purpose comes easily. It's like your second skin. It just unfolds with no effort. And that's beautiful, with no effort. You just slip into that scenario. You just slip into that passion. And it's so true. And it's so true. And one of the thoughts about reflection, we are so afraid to have that silent moment in our lives. We are always within that clutter, the noise. Mindfulness is very important. When we can't find the answers, reflection and mindfulness is very, very important. I think it's across the board. And we take it one step further as Christians, as women of faith, mindfulness in what God is trying to tell us. Those who do not know the power of God, they will just say mindfulness, reflection, but we take it a one step further, reflecting on the Word of God, praying, meditating, and reflecting on how God is giving us directions to our passion and purpose. So remove the clutter, take time out, and just listen.
Mm, I like
Clutter
that.
is dangerous. Clutter is dangerous. And we love clutter, noise, clutter, mess. So God speaks in order. He will speak because He loves you. He will speak. Very sobering thought, but I think we are going into February. And if you have not found your purpose, my dear sisters, my dear brothers, if you're watching the replay, don't waste your life. not discovering your purpose. Elizabeth, I just sense that maybe you should say a word of prayer.
Absolutely, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we can do that. Father, I just want to thank you for everyone that's tuned in today, everyone that's listening, whether they're watching it live or watching the replay. I pray that you will speak to them, that they will make time for reflection and just time to discover themselves and discover who they are and discover why they are here, Lord. And Father, for those that already know their purpose and have an idea of it, I pray that you will give them the confidence to step out in it, to walk in it, and be all that you have made them to be, Lord. And I pray, Father, that you will help us to treasure and to value that purpose, the reason that we're here. Help us to be sensitive to the things that make us cry, the things that make us sing. Help us to be sensitive to the things that stir up emotions on the inside of us, and help us to know what to do about it. In Jesus' name,
Amen.
amen.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, thank you to everyone that has joined us today. Yeah, thank you for joining us. It's been an interesting conversation, but purpose is always one that for me it provokes something in me. And one of the reasons why is because I like to provoke people to step out into purpose. And actually it's interesting that, one of the people that we have on here that's commenting, Sister Colette, has a book on purpose. She has a book
Woo!
about purpose, and
Well done.
she runs a conference on purpose in America. And really the theme topic is purpose. Sister Colette, feel free to put the link for your book in the chat, and we can also share it as well. So yes, purpose is so important. You cannot come and be on this earth and live without discovering your purpose. That's a wasted life. That's a wasted life. Discovering your purpose is not something you do in a day. It's not something you do in a day.
It's a journey.
It's a journey of discovery. Sometimes discovering your purpose means that you do different activities to start to see how they stir you up. You might not end up in the perfect purposeful job. And sometimes we have to realize that, God might not speak in a one statement or loud voice. One of the ways I've really discovered my purpose is by doing.
Mm.
Is by
Taking
doing,
action. Yeah.
taking action, putting myself forward for leadership roles,
Hmm.
because I realized it's something that I enjoy doing. Sometimes I don't even put myself forward. Someone puts me forward because they see it in me. Stepping up to do different things because there's something in me that says you cannot remain silent. You cannot sit back. You have to get up, do something about it. So don't ignore the things that are going on the inside. I was again sharing an experience from one of the schools I was in, and a gentleman said what he wants to do. He said he would like to run something to do with mental health. And I said, why? He said, because I've been through mental health issues and I saw how it affected me. So I want to help people who are going through that. That's something very purposeful. So some of the things that you are going through today, they're linked to your purpose. Don't ignore them. Learn what you need to learn and move on. Avail yourself for what you need to avail yourself for and move on. But realize that you're not going to discover your purpose in a moment. You are not going to discover your purpose in a day. But I want you to also remember that your purpose is linked to somebody. There is someone out there that is waiting for you to step into your place of purpose.
Excuse me.
There are people waiting for you, literally, to step up and step out. And that's why we're running this workshop on 25th of February, to encourage people to step into their place of purpose, to help them, to guide them the best way that we can, to step into that place of purpose. Because for us, that is part of our purpose, is helping other people to step into their
Discover.
purpose,
Yeah.
to help others discover their purpose. And Kiribai said it, I like to provoke. That's there's something in me that just says, when I have a conversation with somebody and they're just like, oh, I do this, I do that, there's something in me that gets uncomfortable. And I start to speak to them about the potential that is within them. I start to speak to them about what they could be, and I help them to paint a picture. I did that a few days ago with a young lady, and she was just sitting there like, wow, okay. And after we finished, I said, "Are you okay? I hope I didn't bore you." And she said, "No, you didn't bore me. You've just left me a lot of food for thought. There's a
Mhm.
lot I need to go away and think about and do." So honestly, if you're in and around the London area, and even if you're not in London, you can make it a weekend in London or a day trip to London. Come and join us for the day. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 25th of February at the Holiday Inn, London, Kensington High Street. We're having confidence culture conversations, and it's a workshop. It's not a conversation that we're having today. It's a session that will equip, that will empower you to really just step out. What we are hoping to do is really to help light the fire.
Mhm.
To help light the fire so that you can't stay still anymore. You just jump up and do what you gotta do, because you have been called for such a time.
Amen. And I think you also have another announcement, Kingdompreneur.
Yes, our Kingdompreneur Summit. So tickets are out. Tickets are on sale right now for the Kingdompreneurs Summit. It is happening on 17th of June 2023. If you were there last year, you know that it was amazing. So this year is going to be even better. We are taking up the next level from grace to grace. That's what we're doing. So registration is opened. Check out my profile. You'll get the link on there. Reach out to us. We'll send you the details. I don't think I have the flyer on here. I'll get it ready for next time. But if you, for the first 50 people that register, you get it at a good price. After that, the price goes higher and higher. So
Wow.
take advantage of the cheaper price. I was speaking to a young lady. She saw it on my WhatsApp status. She lives on the other end of UK. She lives in Scotland. She messaged me. She said, "I want to be there." I said, "Okay, here's the link." She went on the link that night. She messaged me. "I've booked my tickets. I've booked my hotel. Sorted. I'm going to be there." She doesn't live in London, all the way in Scotland, and she's already booked her tickets. She's coming. So don't waste time. Stop procrastinating. Even the Kingdompreneur Summit will help you step into your place of purpose if you haven't
Mhm.
already done so by that time. So honestly, join us, join us, join us. I
But
need to be quiet.
well, talking about kingdompreneurs, I like to share something on this platform, and if you go onto the link, you will see my testimony. I was struggling to find my niche in coaching, in helping. I mean, some of you know I'm a stylist, but I kind of repositioned myself, went on to John Maxwell's, but I didn't know how to link both the um, disciplines. John Maxwell's is all about motivation and leadership, and styling is all about working your wardrobe and looking good. But at the Kingdompreneur, while I was sitting there listening, God dropped something in me. Say, you have to go back to helping the women of faith. I said, women of faith, God, I think they know everything. No, God said, no, they're struggling. So if you're still struggling, If you want to meet like minded people who can help you, besides us coaches, but you know what? Kingdompreneur, it's once a year. I found this, and after that, confidence culture conversation was birthed. And now we are touching lives globally. You see, we don't know where when we obey the voice of God and be where He wants us to be, doors start opening.
Mm.
And make it a date. In fact, make two dates: end of February and middle of June. Make two dates, and you will never go empty, because there will be something you can take back, something you can discover. So we have 4 more minutes to 8, and I shall say bid goodbye.
Honestly, thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like, share. If you're watching the replay, please, yeah, comment so that we can say hello to you too. Thank you, and God bless
Bless.
you.
Have a good week, and bless you.